very good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible, right? Today, I, Pushkar Vora, and Bhavik Grover, my teammate, gonna present you a really interesting project that is worth waiting for, by the name of ZTips. Next slide. So in today's world, with the help of blockchain, there are many things that have come, we have, evolved. And one of the few things is this project. So, what if blockchain actually gets you a power of a superhero in this real life only? Is it possible?
Yes. Moderate.
Yes.
Was yes.
Okay, so let me tell you how you can become a superhero by using our platform. So let's go. Let's assume, let's think about it. We all must have encountered one kind of any incident in our lives which we must have hesitated to report. Or we would have seen some crime incident and we would have hesitated to report it to any kind of authorities or crime investigation agencies. What can be the reason for it? First thought which will come in our mind is, why should I take that risk? Why I have to keep my life on the stake? And I'm going to give one example, one very famous and heart-trembling example for it. In 2013, there was a rape case in New Delhi, the capital of India, where this girl was shouting for the cry and crying for the help, but nobody was coming up just to help her, because everybody at the back of their mind had this kind of fear in their head that why they want to get involved in this kind of situation, right? And somewhere, nobody, even very brave people also, will not come up in such kind of situations. They don't want to get in the mess up of the system. So that is kind of a fear which relies. And what kind of other fears are there? Like fear due to compromised identity, and fear of information leak, and fear due to the lack of faith in system. These are the three main fears which act in the back of our minds, which not allow us to go and report the crime or information to the authorities. It should go and the crime should be enforced. So what leads to the crime solving or information transferring? So one thing is lack of anonymity. And second is distrust in the system. Like in the scenario of India, it's very hard to trust in the system, and nobody actually willingly go and do the stuff for somebody else also. So here I'm trying to bring one concept which can avoid all these scenarios, and then it can empower people to do so. Okay, but I first give you some examples of system failure first. This guy, he's a 22-year-old guy named Ro. So he was killed in front of his mother's eyes, and he was shot dead 9 times. And he was under the Witness Protection Act of US government, which is also considered as one of the best witness protection on all of the countries. And then this girl, Debbie Ashton. So she was also a victim of a failure of this similar system. So one guy named Jonathan Barclay, who had misused the Witness Protection Act by US government only, and had crashed into this girl and killed her. So what my point is, there will be many failures also, but if somebody also tend to do so, if they voluntarily go and tip with us, provide the tips to the existing organizations or system, what kind of rewards they expect? But then there are some tedious processes which happen from the system background. They take really long time to deliver all the rewards, and then sometimes they don't get any reward also, even if they volunteer, right? And the reward is one kind of the motivation which acts in the background to get that particular thing done.
And the second thing that happens the most of the time is that whenever we're going to reward, the anonymity cannot be retained, right? There are no mechanisms through which we can reward someone who is anonymous. But with the help of blockchain, these days we can do that even. So So what if we present you one universal app that have no geographical barriers, no department boundaries, and good for all? What if the platform assures all these things in just one app? That is anonymous information exchange that keeps you anonymous and your information as well. It's node to node. That who wants to know the information and who wants to deliver the information. Only those two nodes know what information is all about. Secure and anonymous identities, again. And ensured reward distribution. That means one can actually barter and negotiate over the information what one has and can actually get rewarded accordingly. So we have structured a multi-layered system in which one can generate a quick tip and let the people know, okay, I know this thing and I want to get it rewarded in this way, and the next day he can give the next tip and get rewarded again. So let me welcome and introduce you ZTips. That is zero knowledge tip platform, rewarding platform, with the integration of ZK snaps and IPFS protocols. So these are the major takeaways about ZTips. It is going to be a bloodless revolution in crime reporting. Why I'm saying this, it is a bloodless revolution. As earlier, Bhavik must have told you and have actually told you about the ROB, and US spends more than $300 million annually in, what I can say is, witness protection programs each day. And there are major failures in that area. Even the situation worsens when you look over to the developing countries. And the crime reporting on another side is just 37%. That means if the 100% of the crime is done, only 37% of the crime is being reported in a developed country like US. And you can, the situation actually gets worsens when you move towards the developing countries. So major thing to worry. Back. Second point, it's a very low cost crime investigation and deterrent framework. That means this cost can actually be saved because anybody who is anonymous and getting rewarded for the same information, right? They don't have to get the witness protections and they actually can save lives. It's a global reporting for all local crimes. That means you can save the territories and the borders and from the terrorists and all types of sort of activities by reporting it all. And obviously, it's a new front on the community policing as well. Next.
So, talking about the users who will actually contribute to this platform. So, there will be two kinds of users. One are information seekers and one other are information providers. Of course, the information has to travel from one end to another end. So, information seekers will be the organizations and the media agencies, crime investigation agencies, or if we have to say, maybe militaries, paramilitaries, etc. Like everybody has some kind of requirement where they can see. Let me give you an example. So, for example, something has happened in some area, and I'm CIA of, basically, I'm the crime investigation agency for that particular area. So I will just create this information bounty, and then we'll ask for that particular information, and whomsoever will give, and then they can get the reward accordingly. And then another information provider. They can be just people like you and me. And if we have seen some kind of crime happening over somewhere, we can report it over the platform. Also, if somebody has, some agency has asked for something, for example, they have asked for any information in particular area, or any, like if I have some very critical information regarding the safety, or like which can actually affect the whole country, so I can put over the platform and transfer it to the multiple agencies. So talking about the ecosystem here. So this basically ecosystem is a mapping where we have tried to map all these possible collaborations, or we should say the users, on the basis of information seeking and information providing. Where the news media outlet can be the most information seeker and the information provider. On the other hand, police and security forces can only be maybe the more information seeker than the lesser information provider, right? And then some people like ethical hackers and so on, they can be more of an information provider than less of the information seeker. So explaining this, and then I would say that we will be acting as a communication bridge between normal people like you and us, and then with all the investigation agencies, where we can report our crimes anonymously by keeping our identity safe, and we can be the heroes.
By organizations here we mean all the corporates and the other, any type of organization in which people work. We can actually empower the women, we can stop the harassment by anonymously reporting and getting the information from bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid by securing the information identity.
Yeah, so there are multiple use cases which can be taken place with the similar platform. So talking about our MVP, so I am happy to announce that we are actually up with the MVP, and we are trying to run it over the Ethereum blockchain. We are trying to introduce zk-SNARKs protocol, which is actually being used by Zcash. So that actually provides anonymity at the level of information. So nobody will know what kind of information is going. So there is no possibility of information breach. And saying that, we'll be launching this demonstration very soon on the platform. So yes. One more USP of our platform. So basically, if we talk about proof of activity or activity mining, so like to make this platform self-sustainable, we have planned that we'll release 35% of our tokens in the process of activity mining. So as soon as the number of tips will get on increasing on the platform, and if for the first 19 million tips, we'll be releasing our tokens, 35% of our tokens accordingly. And so that will actually ensure the token locking. And it will be ensured also that with the proof of activity, with the activity, these things only, these tokens will only get released. Talking about the revenue generation. So we'll be actually generating the revenue with the transaction fees, very minimal transaction fees toward the spamming, of course, and some commission fees. For example, if somebody has put a great bounty, like $100 million or something like that, so we'll be, of course, charging some kind of amount from it, because we also need to run the platform, right? And in the long-term vision, so there are two goals. One is global partnership programs. So we are looking for the agencies, the communities, so with whom we'll be collaborating. And yeah, so like today the motive also was for this particular session that we can tie up with some government agencies, and then we can pitch our idea to them. So we can explore more about the use cases and how we can help them eradicating crime, and also for the crime enforcement in the particular scenario by giving the power of anonymity in the hands. So by making them superheroes and also being the superhero for them. So join us and for the